divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.
Still here. Hell or high water, still here. Can you hear me now? Hey, everybody. Yes, that's right. Back from the depths of hell. You can shoot me down, but I'll get back up again. How's everybody doing tonight? I want to thank everybody for sticking with me through hell or high water every week. It's been quite an experience, especially last Sunday, celebrating my 100th anniversary show, right? 100th anniversary show from hell. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Tonight I have Miss Laura J. Wellington, author. She wrote a book. I like the way it sounded. Be careful what you wish for. She's going to tell us all about it tonight. Going to have her on the line, staying up late with me. I'm telling you, I have more than 7 lives. We'll talk about that in a minute. Get to it before I lose my train of thought, as I always do. Next week, priming the pump, all right? Next week, I have Dr. Bindu Babu. She's supposed to be on the first of the year. She had some issues with family. And we said, let's do it another time. Family first, always with me. Family first. But she's cool. And it's a very interesting subject, I think, narcissism. Lord knows there's plenty of people who have fallen into that trap. And God bless them all. But it's something that can just wreck your life unknowingly because you love. You're flawed for loving. I'm flawed. Anyway, that's next week. Moving right along. What do I got here? Oh. I said I'm still here? Yes, I am. You know why? Thanks to Bolt Energy. That's right, folks. Bolt Energy. Why Bolt Energy? No preservatives. Said it. I'm going to say it every single week. No preservatives. Go try and find an energy drink with no preservatives. Let me help you out. You're not going to find any. Cleaner energy drink, because these guys are workout fanatics. They care about what they put into their body. But you know what? We all, as you're getting older, it's just like, you're not full of pizzazz. We all need a little something. And I'm not a coffee drinker. I like something cold and sparkly. This has enough, a little spark. Tastes good. It's enriched with vitamins and antioxidants, and I like the way it tastes. So go to your local stores, ask for Bolt Energy. If they don't have Bolt Energy, say, why don't you have Bolt Energy? So I don't know. Why do we don't have any Bolt Energy? Say, well, you should get it, dude. Stuff is good. Love what they do. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy and ask the Bolt Energy people, is it in my area? Because they're growing. It's a tough one. There's 1 million energy drinks if you walk into a store. 1 million of them. And you'll grab whatever it takes because you're grabbing straws to, your get up and go, got up and went, right? So, again, all natural. So there's no crash. You're not going to get all jittery. If you're expecting to feel, like something's going, like a drug, it's not going to happen. It just gives you that little bit of extra push that you need cleanly. So go out and ask for Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. Bolt Energy. As always, I'm going to pop open a can. I wait all day for this. Did I tell you it was really great to be here? Salute, Breath Energy. Oh. I bet my guest that's staying up late on the East Coast, Laura, wishes she had some Bolt energy. Ooh la la. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Story time. Gather around, children. Once again, opening up my vulnerability. We hit show number 100 on the live shows last week, and I was, I'm pretty proud of that in a way. I mean, to me, it's the norm, but it has a lot to be said because anybody trying to do this stuff knows it is beyond what you think it may be. It's a bitch. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a bitch. I love it though. I love what I do. So I've been having issues with Facebook since we started. I mean, it's always something. I thought I love my Facebook people, and I thought we could deliver through Facebook. We could deliver through Facebook, and just because I like the people. The people tell their stories. They tell when a loved one passed away, a friend, what they ate, who's going through hell, prayers going through surgeries, whatever it is. I just like it because I can watch what's going on and it's relatable. And I said, you know what? I got a big crowd in Facebook, and this is the way I want to do it. I want to deliver every single week like a TV channel on Facebook. And my friend said, you're out of your friggin' mind. What are you doing? I said, what am I doing? Why not? Well, they're kind of right. It's been an upward crawl, but I'm about it. That doesn't scare me. The problem is Facebook has a platform, and again, I don't want to say it's like socialism, but it's like socialism. What do you want for free? They control everything, and I got to tell you, out of the 100 shows, 2/3 of them have been pretty good for the most part, but that 1/3 has made my hair grayer. And a lot less of it, because there's nothing worse than having technical issues, or they're fluttering you down. They don't like what you say more than ever now. And I'm not that bad, but I swear there's times when I feel like somebody's got it out for me. And I'm a true believer in that. They have all kinds of algorithms, all kinds of stuff that goes on. Who knows what the hell goes on? Well, I've had audio issues. Everything works properly on my end. The minute we go to Facebook, no audio. It will not let me connect to audio. Show video, and I look like an idiot. More like an idiot. Because I want it to work well. I want to be, if I'm going to be here for an hour plus, I want it, hell or high water, good or bad, I want you to hear what I have to say. You can turn it off. You can always turn it off. Like, the jokes are free, babe. So here's the deal. My 100th show. I'm getting ready for my 100th show, and we put in so much work, and I've talked about it, and again, I'll let it go after this one, but I want you to know what goes on, because someday we're all going to look back at this and go, you remember when? The 100th show comes up, I have everything ready, we're going to go. Finally, we're working up to the hour of the show. It was that screwed up. Again, manpower, and you don't have the muscle, especially during COVID times right now. It's tough. So we start the show. Pre-show, I do a 30-minute bumper live. I used to. Tonight we didn't do it. I'm going to tell you why. And no audio. I'm 20 minutes bending over to the camera, which now is farther away. If you notice, no shades, because the camera's farther away now. I can deal with it, because before I was looking at the monitor and I was looking like this. Doesn't look right. It's never going to look right. You know what I mean? But it looks worse. If you can imagine that, it looks worse. They said I had a great face for radio. So anyway, we start finally, after 15 minutes of screwing with it, it's luck of the draw. Unplugging, plugging, can't figure it out. Algorithms, software, whatever. The show starts. It's working. Amen. It's working. There is a God. Well, we get 30 minutes into the show, and all of a sudden buzzes and hums and all kinds of things, and things that it's not coming from my end. I'm being hit with an artillery of technical disasters. Finally, it's like I try to plow through it because that's what I do. You have to. It's a race. Like I said, when you're live, you're live. Right now, we are live. There's no getting around it. We are live. Can't fix anything. You can't record live. Like the Tonight Show, they record live at 5:00, but then they take the show and they fix whatever they got to fix and they send it out to television, national broadcast hours later after they smooth it out. Well, not here, folks. What you see is what you get. Good or bad, hell or high water. But that's okay. I'm good with that because I'm a little bit fortunate that, believe me, being in the music industry most of my life, live has been my world. And, you kind of get numb to it. Show must go on. So show must go on. But at this point, I'm starting to actually lose it because it's so important to me. It's my 100th anniversary show. And let me back that up. It's 100 live Facebook shows, which tonight we are not only on Facebook, we're live YouTube and live LinkedIn because I've changed platforms. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But I've had more shows. We've been going since 2017. The live Facebook shows have been since 2019. There's literally about 250, almost 300 shows. Previous shows were pre-recorded, brought back into the editing bays, edited, and then sent out. Full control. Love it, but it's expensive. So I said, you know what? We're going to go live Facebook. Whatever happens, happens. Are you still with me? It's going to get better, I swear. Lord Wellington's going to be on. Be totally cool. For now, you got to stomach through me. So at this point, I'm frustrated, and the show's still going on, and I'm going, oh my God. Why the hell is this happening? And then all of a sudden I hear a voice in my head. This is happening because you've been procrastinating from changing your ways, my son. It's like, what? God, is that you? No, it's the plumber. I'm like, son of a gun. There is a God. I go, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through all this hell? Why can't I just have a smooth show? Why can't it just be, I work really hard at it. We check everything. We test everything. We work all week long just to have that 1 hour plus show. Why can't it just go off for my 3 or 3 million people, whatever it is? You know what I mean? Why can't it just go on? Do you really need me to answer your own questions, my son? And then I knew, because I've been procrastinating switching to a different format of how we deliver the show because of all these problems, but I didn't want to change. I hate change. It's just like your iPhone. When they come up with a new friggin' software update and they change the whole friggin' thing, and it's like, holy crap. Now I got to sit there and screw with the damn thing because they made changes. But I knew I wanted a multi-stream more than just Facebook because people have been killing me for years now. Why don't you go live YouTube? And I was always, because YouTube is always there. I wanted Facebook. I believe in my Facebook people. They're very interactive. And I wanted to have an interactive show with a call-in number and all that crap. It's like, why couldn't it just work, God? You know why. Now get off your ass and make it work, my son. Okay, God, I will. I will. Now, last week, after I got all pissed off, I said within the next month or two, there's going to be some changes. Well, I went to bed that night and immediately got up and said, the change starts tomorrow. Excuse me. So the future is here. We worked all week long, and we changed formats the way the show is being delivered. I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm crossing my fingers on what I see that is being delivered to several different Facebook platforms and YouTube, and only to start and find out that when we went to LinkedIn that it says I don't have permission yet, so I got to figure that out. The thing is, now in the future, we're going to be streaming live to all 5, 6, 7 platforms or pages simultaneously, which is something I should have done a long time ago. But again, I hate change. But change is inevitable. And sometimes you just have to have your ass kicked enough times to finally go, okay, it's time to get up and go. And I'm one of those guys who I can get up and I can go because I want to do it. Because if I'm going to sit here in this seat and go through all this shit for a whole week just to prep for a show, it might as well be worth it, right? All right. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are on a new platform now, and after my talk with God, I promised God that I always promise God. I believe it or not, I say a little prayer before I start every single show. I say a prayer before I get up, when I get up in the morning, when I walk out the door, and when I go to bed. It's just me. Call me crazy. But we're going to bring Miss Laura J. Wellington on, and that way we'll have some real entertainment. But I like telling a story once in a while because it's not just me. This pertains to you guys. God knows how many of you just like banging your heads against the wall and need to do something and change, and who gets finally off of it and who does it, who's later, sooner than later, better, whatever. So long as you do it. Sometimes you have to have a few more scars. And that's my point. But I love all of you. And that's why I tell these stupid stories. This is just one prime example. So here's what we're going to do. I'm getting ready to bring Miss Laura Wellington, author of her new book. And we're going to have some interesting conversation in a whole different way. If you'll notice, the big screen is not behind me anymore. So everything's going to be a surprise. All right. So here we go. And we're going to see if this works. Laura, you ready for me? I think she's ready for me. Okay, I can't hear, but we're getting ready to bring you on to screen. Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. I want to thank you for staying up late with me. And
where's my bolt? Where is it?
Where's your bolt? I know, right? Exactly. I told you it wasn't going to be. It's a late night thing. You're on the East Coast, right?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I grew up in Connecticut. You're
actually right next door, the next town over.
Well, no, I was in East Haven, but
so a couple
but that's my friend's bookstore over there in Guilford.
Yeah. Okay.
But the cool thing is that I grew up in Connecticut until I was 15. I mean, so it was my kind of my earlier years. I want to say that when I moved down to the Gulf Coast into Florida, those were my formative years. But I, a lot of stuff. I mean, I still have many friends. I grew up in a town that you went to from kindergarten through high school with the same people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, like you were switching, a whole lot of schools and things like that. And you just didn't know anybody. I mean, I still have friends there that I've known since I was 5 years old.
Really?
And yeah, it's kind of cool. And you know what? And it's through Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, I'm a big Facebook guy, even though I'm telling you
that
Facebook might not be here soon. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's had a good run, but there's a lot of crap going on. But the thing is, it's been a connection without, I'm very social. I mean, that's what I've based this whole show on is seeing what's going on. Now we met on LinkedIn.
We did. Yeah,
we did. You reached out to me over about a year ago.
Yeah. I know you love Facebook. I am a big fan of LinkedIn. I am.
Me too. That's all my professional people.
Yeah.
It's a different approach. You know what I mean? Because you came to me somehow. I don't know how I fluttered into your space, but I'm grateful for it. And you came to me and said, Peter, I really would like to be on your show. I got a book coming out.
Yeah.
And then we talked briefly. And I said, well, you know what? That'd be great. When do you want to do it? And then you said, well, my book is not out yet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it wasn't. And it was funny because I wasn't quite sure at that point. I think when I contacted you, the publisher, I just gotten the publisher, we hadn't decided when the book was coming out. So you and I decided to circle back when it was. So, but the process was quick for this book. So So it didn't take too long to get back to you.
Well, that's the whole thing. But I said, okay, listen, because you told me it might be the winter, it might be the fall, who knows? And I said, you know what? Let's get in touch when that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, time flies. Let me tell you, I've had people.
I mean, no, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You're freezing a little bit. See, this is what I've talked about. It's okay. It's not so bad, but I'm telling you, Ethan.
Okay.
You said you never had that problem before? Yeah, welcome to it. So I said, let's get in touch with each other when the time comes, when your book comes out now. Mm-hmm. Now, again, we're all busy. Life is busy.
Yeah.
I don't, for some reason, though, back in November or December or something like that, I just felt like I crossed your path and I said, let me ring her bell. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I said, hey, what's going on? And then when's your book going to come out? You go, oh, my book is out.
Yeah. Well, Peter, what happened was the book really took a life of its own. It really did. And from when I began writing this book to when it found the publisher, and then when it, finally was released, which was in October, it took on a life of its own. So it wasn't so much me overlooking you by far, who could do that, but it was more that it swept me up, and it continues to. So I'm grateful for that. I feel blessed for that, especially because the story is so personal to me. And I think from what I'm getting from the readers, the various reviewers, and the various people like yourself doing the interviews, they're just completely blown away. And they're all connecting with the book in their own unique ways based on their experiences. But it's resonating very deeply with everyone. And that thrills me, because when you put so much work, as you mentioned, that you do with the show, into something, and people are, they're feeling it inside as they're reading it, that's a big deal to me. So, so that's that story.
Well, here's the deal, because we haven't. You say, "Oh, my book is out." It's like, okay, well, do you want to come on my show still? Because some people, it's like, yeah, no, your show. I've seen your show. It's like, I'll pass. Yeah. So we said, okay, let's do this, and it's always, believe me, with everybody, especially, it's always we contact. Weeks go by, everybody's busy, and then finally I'm going, let's lock this in, let's do this. Right. I'm saying, it's like, you and I need to do this show, and now that your book is out, and let's do it. But the fact was, until we finally I got your phone number, it was like, weeks go by, all that. Mm-hmm. So now you have this book, and I said, send me a copy of this book. I want to see it. And you got this book right here. Right. And I number one, the title, if the title doesn't catch you for whatever reason, and they can go in any direction you can possibly imagine, but it's a saying that I've seen many women look at me and go, careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think back to my father and King Midas and his gold, just the story my father told me, Yes. And, yes. Mm-hmm. So, but this is just a title. So this doesn't mean that it's like careful what you wish for. There's many different ways and everything, but the reason I got you on here, because number one, you wrote a book, which is something I'm jealous of. I need to do the same thing, because I think I have a plethora of assays to talk about and accomplishments, but it's easier said than done. And it's one of those things. It scares me to start it. I don't know how is this your first and only book, or
no? I have two others prior to this, and then I've written. I have a children's book series that is out, and it's actually being converted into a video series by Amoeba Television in Canada. And prior to this, I had created a children's television series that actually won a significant number of awards. In 2006, and called The Lumblers. So I've been in media and entertainment and writing for a long time, but it does, I mean, books can be intimidating. I get that, especially when you're pulling your own stories out of yourself. It takes a lot of energy. You will feel spent if you're doing it, in my opinion, if you're doing it well, you'll feel spent at the end of each session that you sit there and write. Um, yeah, I mean, so I can understand that, but but again, it also is really cathartic at the end when you've completed it and it's in the form that you're ready to share with, your readers. So I would recommend doing it. Just, I think the most important thing is just get started and allow the book to take you where you want to go.
It's all up here.
Yeah.
I'm not a literary guy. Okay. I told you when we talked about the book, it's tough for me to sit down. It's all up here, but I'd have to have somebody to keep me grammatically correct.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm just not a writer. I've never had that skill. See, I know my pros and I know my strengths. And I know my weaknesses. That's why I do a visual show, because if you expected me to be a writer or a blogger, I'd fail tremendously. I mean, I would. I hate it. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, but it takes years. I mean, it really does take years to learn how to write well.
Yeah,
and
but I'm old.
People think, yeah, maybe you won't do it. You've got many years left. No, but the thing is, it does. It's a craft like anything else. So people think that they can just pick up a pen and start writing, and I don't agree with that, because there is an absolute skill to it, and you know the difference when you've read someone who has put years into their writing versus someone who's just lifted a pen and started. Not to negate the person that's lifted their pen and started, because we all start somewhere, but it's like anything else. To be really, considered a professional at something, it takes time. You need to put time in. You're not just going to go to a surgeon, a brand new surgeon, and say, okay, cut me up. You always want the guy that's had a few years on him, so that then he's a different surgeon than the gentleman that's just first started, woman who's first started. So it's like, it's not anything different.
So your background, I mean, originally, where did you start out doing before? I mean, I know you said you've written some things, but I mean, how did you really say where I'm going?
Really, in the beginning, I started out originally as a teacher, and then moved into technology. I met my late husband, now late husband, and we started technology companies together and did very well. And then he ended up becoming sick and passed away. And I took over those technology companies. And I also went into children's programming. That's when I started creating the children's shows. And then after that, I sort of, again, once I started doing that, learned a few more skills, and then literally considered I needed a break at around 2012. So I just sold everything, and that's when I started writing. And I started blogging first. There's blogging for the Huffington Post, blogging for a bunch of other different places, and then launched my own blog. That became popular. I was interviewing celebrities, all different kinds. Andre Bocelli was one of my first interviews, who I love, and some high-level social media people, and then went into writing books, and that leads me to today. But this story is this is a very unusual story. It is a new type of book for me, because it is, I wrote it, I mean, it's fiction, but it's based on real life. And where my other books are, other than the children's books, my other books are nonfiction. So this is probably my greatest love. People are saying it's my most important piece of work in my entire life.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. So tell me this then. So let's get straight to the meat of the whole thing. You have this book that you just came out with, and it's available. Where's it available at?
Everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere you can buy books. It's there.
Is it going to be Audible, or is it just in paper, in print?
It's gonna be Audible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good for me. Okay. But the thing is, you got this cool book, and it's kind of confusing to me a little bit because, again, I love the phrase "be careful what you wish for," but then you have this woman on the front cover, and she's kind of it's that nude pose kind of, but you can't see anything, so it leaves you to like, what is the hell is this story about? So this is what I'm going to ask you right now: is like, let me know what prompted you and where you came out from this, because this is like, it's a variable, it can go any direction. So why don't you tell my 3 million what the hell is going on?
Okay, so it's a great question. And I purposely, when we designed that cover, we did it exactly for the reason that you just explained. We wanted people to question what was it that was going on in this woman's life. And so we didn't want to give the answer through the cover. So I'll tell you, be careful what you wish for was a phrase that my late husband, when we first met, said to me and continued to say to me throughout my life with him. I couldn't think of a more perfect title for this book than that phrase, especially because the book is about or in this case, the main character's name is Evie. Let's put it that way, life and journey going from meeting the man of her dreams to then ending up by herself and moving through a path of life that she would have never anticipated in the beginning of their relationship and of their meeting. And I'll tell you that there's a lot of there are heart-wrenching pieces to it that I think are breaking people down, men and women, sending them the most common word being used is sobbing. They're sobbing. And I can tell you that Evie's relationship with Rick is one that is remarkable, unusual, and driven by not a deep connection and an extremely deep love that transcends what we would know as earthly boundaries. And so that's the basic story. Now, what takes place through it, there's only a certain amount I want to be able to share with you without giving the entire story away. Does that help?
Yes, it does help. But my thing being is, okay, so let's back it up some. You were married.
Yes.
How long were you married for?
I was married for 12 years and I had known him for 14.
That's a tough one. I mean, and you were happy.
Very.
See, here's the thing. I mean, nowadays life is so 15 minutes, and people get divorced, and like it's changing your shirt, and then you get people that are happy, and that it's like, you're totally content, which is a dream come true, and you get life ripped away from you, and I just yeah, and it's like, and then nobody ever bargained for that.
No, and that's so true. And we also had 4 little children. My oldest was my oldest, when I first found out that he was sick, my youngest was just born. And my oldest was 6. And he was sick. My husband was sick for 3 years. So when we buried him, my oldest was 9 and my youngest was 3 and the other children. So I was left really with, a world that had come crashing down on me, losing, the love of my life, having to raise 4 kids by myself. Saving businesses that were now failing because we had built businesses together. You can't do everything. So we had to put our businesses in someone's hands, and they didn't do very well. So there were a lot of choices I needed to make. And and then there was a lot of after it all had occurred and he passed away, then there were even more choices I had to make. And even I found, it's interesting in this is you don't choose to be in that situation, but man, do you find yourself when you're put in those situations? Because it's either the point where it's gonna break you, or you're gonna be forced to find yourself. And I took it upon myself and bred it into my children as well, that we were this man's legacy. And so we had to do him proud, just as proud as he had made us, in the fact of how hard he had fought to stay alive for as long as he did. Because he broke odds that way too. We now needed to show him and who we were to become individually and as a group, what he had left behind. And we did that. And so I really, with the children, I tried to turn his passing into almost a call to arms for our lives, not to waste our lives, because he sure would want just even one more day back, if he had it. So not to waste a day of our own. And so I really to look at that and to use that to the benefit of the children and then myself. But it was hard. I can't say it wasn't. It was easy. It was extremely hard.
Okay,
and,
but
yeah.
Your children were so young. I mean, most people, it's like, how do you hold it together with 4 young children? I mean, you got shortchanged in this whole deal, but your children, they'll I mean, at 9 years old and less, they won't even remember their father. They're going to live on the stories you tell, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that my older kids remember him more than my younger kids. My youngest daughter doesn't remember him. Obviously, she was too young. But and I think that's part of it. Part of the what I was trying to do is keep them attached to their grandparents. His parents, which I did. And then also what?
Still do?
Yeah. And also, integrate him, his life, and the things he would have wanted to show the children became my job.
Sure.
So I took it upon myself to make sure that they knew their father, even when he couldn't be there. Different places that he went as a boy, different places he grew up, and being in Connecticut, we go back to Connecticut. Well, half of his childhood he spent in Connecticut, in the area that I'm in. I'm in this area because I wanted to make sure that my children understood what their dad would have shown them and who he was as a person, and it did reflect well. I think I have to pat myself on the back. I do, because I was spot on right with that, because the children have grown up to be incredible human beings.
How old
my oldest is now 27. He's a orthopedic surgeon. And my second is 26, and she works at Yale in technology. And my third is 23, and she's in medical school.
Okay.
And my fourth is at UC San Diego studying environmental policy.
Okay. So I mean, you're a very blessed individual. I mean, because you not only did you raise them, but they've all found ways to take care of themselves. I mean, somebody had told me a long time ago, the only way you can measure how good of a parent you were is when you see the end result of your children. And that has stuck with me for because mine's only 15. And so far so good, but a lot can change. I mean, nobody ever grew up saying I want to be a crack addict. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could have the orthopedic surgeon, and you can have the drug addicted child. I mean, believe me, I have people on my show who've lost children. And I guess you couldn't ask for much worse than you. But yes, there is that one extra step. You know what I mean?
Well, I think too, you can have the orthopedic surgeon, but he may not even ever want to come home because he hates you. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess
Honestly,
so. I guess
right?
I didn't think of
So,
that.
yeah.
Boy.
So my kids all want to come home. And I have great relationships with them, but I really, really, really worked at it. But I didn't give them the excuse, and I never let them. I never. So I'm a big one for respect, and I taught them to respect me, and I held the line with them a lot because you have to decide not what your children should be, but who you would like your children to be. And I decided that early on, and then I worked backwards to get them there. And so that's that's my tell. And I truly believe that anything I did in my life, I could. It doesn't matter how much money I would have made or could have made. If I fell down on my kids, then my life's not a success.
But
Because
you understand that no matter how hard you want, like I've been a musician all my life. Okay,
Mhm,
my biggest goal that I wanted when my daughter was really little, because she showed a lot of interest in, I was a drummer, and I was a good drummer,
mhm,
still am,
mhm,
kind of.
mhm,
Uh, but I wanted her to be musical so I could play with her. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And when she was
Yeah.
little, she was an infant, and she goes, "Teach me how to play drums, Dad." I didn't want her to play drums. I wanted her to play piano, whatever,
Right.
guitar. And I go, "Why do you want to learn to play drums?" And she stuck her arm out. I mean, she was little, 4 years old.
Mhm.
She's
Yeah.
like, "It's in the blood, Dad." I had this old soul child, and she's in the blood, Dad. And it was like,
Yay, that's
I
good,
was
actually.
so, but as she grew, her desires changed. You know what
Mhm,
I mean? And it's the one thing I had to live. As much as I wanted, a very close friend of mine looked at me and said, "Don't force things on what she wants to do. She's going to be who she's going to be." And she got
yeah.
very involved in horses, and still
Mhm,
is. I mean,
mhm,
I got to get up early in the morning tomorrow morning because of
mhm.
horses. Okay,
Right.
and the thing is, and so she has totally drifted. She took piano lessons for a few years.
Mhm,
She says, "Dad, it's not my thing." And so now she piddles. I bought her a guitar last year. She kind of once in a while, but now she's discovered fingernails. And if you're a
mhm.
guitar player, fingernails don't work when you're playing guitar. And
Yeah.
so you, no matter how hard you try, you can't always get what you want, because I mean, my parents, they supported me, but they would, in their mind, they came from old school World War II,
Right.
growing up during World War One, and
Right.
being a musician was just not really what they understood at all. They were
Mhm,
doctor, lawyer, president. I mean, back then it
mhm.
was reputable to be a
Yeah.
president or whatever. And so I mean, no matter what you want, no matter
Mhm,
what you want, but yet they got to be who they want to be. You can instill some values,
mhm.
but you manage to get them into something.
Yes, and that's why I said you can't decide what they should be, but who they should be, you can get them there. And I mean, do you want to raise a gentleman? Do you want to raise someone that will listen to the other side? Do you want to, and once you decide on that, who do you want them to be? That then you guide them in that direction, and then they have to choose what they want to be. Because at the end of the day, it's exactly right. They're not you. They're not here to live your journey. You're there to support their journey. And it can be tough sometimes for parents. And it's been tough for me at times. I'm a literary person. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. I have four scientists. I mean, it's like, okay, how that happened, but that's the way, the dice rolled. So who am I to tell them that that's wrong and I'm right? My job is to help them reach their dreams. And so I get that. I really do get that. And yeah, sometimes things are in the blood. So, but they go through evolution too. And then, it's like our journey. We tried things, we did it, we went to the next thing, we tried, you know, that's how it's called finding finding yourself in your journey, I think. So yeah, I mean, I understand that completely.
Let me ask you something. When
Yeah.
you were when you're raising your kids, did they have the desires? I mean, like, to me, I'm at this point where I'm saying all I want is to have a decent human being of a child so she can be just decent in the world. And yes, I want her to be somebody because it's a tough world out there. It's not getting any easier. So how did they find their journey to go where they wanted to go? I mean, you have to have a desire to do it, because there's nothing worse than doing something you hate doing. And believe me, I know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because, it's just, so how did you go about figuring out, or how did it work?
My children, basically, my oldest son always wanted to be a doctor. And I think part of that came from, his father was in the hospital so much during his very impressionable early years. I think as he put it to me, he's always felt comfortable in the hospital because he was at the hospital a lot, seeing his father and whatnot. So there's the silver lining, in the sense, in the tragedy for my oldest. My second child really didn't know what she wanted to do overall. She liked a bunch of different things. And then she landed on technology because she thought it would be really cool to be one of the few, or the beginner women in that field. And she had also been very dyslexic, and for some reason, the way her brain worked, that didn't transfer over to that career choice. So she felt very comfortable, going down that road. She was also very creative, and I know techies aren't supposed to be very creative, but and I know from experience in owning a tech company, many of the good ones are very creative. So it's a different type of creativity, but it is still creative. And then the other one also always wanted to be a doctor, always. So I guess it's in their blood. And then the fourth one always had a strong pull to save the planet, save the world, save this, everything she could save, she wanted to do. And she finally decided that that's the way she wanted to go. So so it really just was more, they found their way. And I always said to them, I don't care what you do, as long as you can support yourself when you're doing it. That's the bottom line. Because at some point you have to grow up and be an adult and support yourself. So so that's what I would tell them.
It's a cruel world out there. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nobody cares like you care, and
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
nobody. In fact, people feed off of watching people go down.
Yeah.
It's sad but true. I mean, I've got lots of very close friends that they look at me and they go, "Oh, Peter, Peter, just
Yeah.
Peter and his silly ideas."
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's tough. So,
yeah, it
so
is.
this brought you in. Is it safe to say that this book right here is, I'm not going to say a summary of you?
There is there is a ton of my life in that book. So yes, I mean,
That's
I
the best
pulled
thing to do
from
in the
my
whole world.
what?
I think it's the best thing in the whole world. I mean, nobody can
Yeah.
tell a story than your own.
Yeah, but it's not what I didn't want to do, is I didn't want to make a biography. Um, there is some things in my life that I went through after he passed away, um, because there were some things that had occurred between us that I needed closure on, and I wasn't able to get it. And so the second part of the book will reveal how I got that. And it's unique. And I came to learn through that journey with him that there's more to this world than meets the eye. And I live with that every day.
Explain.
It really opened me up to thinking about the world and the universe, and my faith and spirituality, and all of it, in a broader sense than I had ever done as a younger person. It's such an incredible gift to spend time, living today, and just having that opportunity to live.
Gift.
And
It's a
yeah, it is.
you don't
It's
realize it,
really,
but yeah, we're lucky.
yeah.
Kind of.
We really, we're all going through. I'll take it even today without talking politics. I don't want to talk politics. Like, it's enough already. Everybody's dead by it. But I think you always have to remember through these difficult times. These difficult times are always come for a reason. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you grow stronger and wiser for it. And right now, all our wills are being tested. We're facing ourselves. We're facing fear. We're facing, resilience. We're facing so much together personally and collectively. And I think when you think about like where we were even maybe maybe a year and a half, 2 years earlier, how many of us just went through life complaining that, oh, I'm not going anywhere. This is like, I haven't done this. I'm complaining about, is this so stressful? Is that now you get to today? And yesterday looks like a dream. Like we're all wishing, why can't we go backwards and just grab those days? Well, that insight is a gift because going forward, now you're going to appreciate the next few days. That you're going forward and you're like in the next few days of your life. Now you've got a reference point that you never had before. So waking up and being able to see your 15-year-old daughter in the morning and being able to watch her go on her journey and to watch even the challenges that you might face in helping her along, you've got the privilege of being able to raise her and to be with her and to see her grow and to share that love that you feel for her, which what if you didn't have that? I mean, what is life? What are we here for? And I think that's I think what I mean by it truly is a gift. And I think this book really points out that as well. And I think again that's one of the reasons why it's resonating with people so well. I can't tell you the notes I get. I cannot tell you the notes I get from readers and even reviewers that are supposed to review the book for XYZ. They'll send me a note in the halfway point of the book and like, I just have to tell you, I can't even believe this book. I'm just like emotional, and they're like expressing to me how much it's personally touching them. People have read thousands of books are like, that are stopping in the middle of mine and saying, I have never read anything like this. It's mind boggling. And then to know it's your journey, it was your journey in a sense. It just makes you feel so amazing inside that you're touching people that so deeply.
Nothing speaks louder than experience, good or bad. I mean,
Yeah.
From the heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm grateful every day. Believe me, you're talking about my daughter and this and that. I'm very fortunate in a lot of ways where I've been available. I turned my life when I went through divorce. This is how this whole show started, because I had 50-50 my ex. Anger makes you do crazy things. We went to court for years, spent a bunch of money for nothing. And at the end of the day, I still had 50-50 because I love being dad.
Right.
I was this guy that was happy to be, available and to be a father finally.
Mm-hmm.
And despite our personal indifferences, things changed. But the thing is, it didn't change me as, anger makes you do stupid stuff. And you do stupid things. But the thing is, I'm very grateful. I'm like diarrhea. When that baby came out, I don't know. It changed me as a man. So did my divorce. But then again, so did my divorce.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that changed. But the thing is, minutes before we started this show, and I talk about it a lot. It's like, Daddy's got to do his little show. And she just like, okay, I got to go. But I said, I'll see you in the morning because I don't have her right now. And but we're only. I mean, I could literally jog there if I was in better
Right.
shape. That's how far apart we are. I purposely
Mhm.
made sure of that. And the thing is, you can only do the best you can do. But I'm like diarrhea of the mouth when it comes to how much I love this child. I mean, it's just
Right.
and maybe that's too much. I don't know, but so far so good.
I don't think it's ever too much to love somebody. There's never too much love that you can give, and there's never too much love you can feel, and there's never too much love you can feel for your child.
I know, but
That's really the truth.
I know, I get it, but I remember I had a relative that said because she had a daughter who her son, my cousin's son, passed away from a bone cancer, and it's like that can rip you apart. I mean that's kind of like I said, just like losing anything.
Yeah.
Losing somebody you love, but they just took it and tried to make some kind of understanding out of it. But that's stuff that changes you as a person. I mean, you can't take it back. And
No.
your deepest. I mean, to me, is there anything worse than ripping out your soul than losing a child?
No.
Uh,
No, but that's the other side of it. Like we live in a world it's made of polarities, right? So if you love deeply, you can hurt deeply.
yeah,
And that's the bargain. But do you want to give up loving deeply because you could potentially hurt deeply? I
yeah,
mean,
I know.
I don't think you ever want to you're not supposed to live life halfway. Like I I have thought about, would I go back and do it again if I knew this journey was going to be ahead of me? And I would. Absolutely. Because I don't want to be a person that just it's all so easy. And you know what? That might be good for some. I'm not going to make comment on other people's lives, but for me, I want the full gamut. If I'm going to be here, I want the full gamut. I don't want to it's like this.
I know, but everybody wants happy. I mean, just no
Yeah.
problem, no problems. Again, as told to me many times, failure is a way of if you don't fail, you never learn. And I've said it, especially last week. It's like I'm a freaking genius at this. I'm at Einstein level. But what do you do? I mean, you either quit or you keep pushing ahead
Right.
because
Yeah,
there's lives to be lived.
yeah. No, I mean, everybody wants happy, but happy evolves over time. I mean, is not going to be every day. And yeah, life is more than just about happy. I mean, life is about learning. Life is about trying. Life is about it. I mean, you get people that have everything in the world and they're still not happy. Life is finding happy. It's part of the journey, but it's not just getting everything you want. I don't know anyone that's gotten easy road and is just happy. Do you know anybody that's just been gifted everything and is
No,
like
that's
happy?
a curse.
Right.
I mean,
So
people I've grown up with people who've had money and were given everything and they know
no,
nothing and now they're adults and they're a mess.
right.
Friggin'
So
mess. I
right.
teach that to my daughter. And she knows because it's like you have to have the bumps in the road. You have to.
Right. And the thing is, and that's the thing, and that's what makes you smarter at living life, are those bumps in the road.
But as parents, a lot of people who with money, you do that out of love. You buy them things because you can and this and that. But sometimes they just overdo without teaching. Like you got to get in there and you got to get your hands dirty. I mean, because you got to
Yeah.
know. I'm a little bit. It bothers me a little bit. Like I don't give my daughter everything. I really don't. But we haven't had a lot of failures yet. I mean, we have, but we haven't. Maybe that's. I mean, the little ones are like extreme failures, and I don't recognize it. But I don't know. My ass has been kicked a lot harder through the years than my daughter.
Mhm.
But she works
Right.
hard. She does. She believes in what she does, and I can't bitch because she's on a good path, so to
Right.
speak, so far.
Right. Right.
It scares me kind of because again, there's lots of catastrophe, like my show.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like, it just is what it is. It's no
It's a wreck. It's a train wreck.
it's no easy path.
No.
Everybody wants to be somebody, and then when you are somebody, what do you do with it? You see, I think I could
Right.
win the lottery, and I could be responsibly okay with winning, millions of dollars, as opposed to you hear all these stories about people who win the lottery and their life just goes down the tubes because they go nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their
Yeah.
family, they give money to their family, their grandchildren die of ODing. And I mean, I've read these stories, and it's just stupid
Right.
and sad.
It is stupid and sad, but I think, unfortunately, a few of the generations that we've seen come up, unfortunately, that the responsibility factor has been limited. I think. I think again, I, like you, did not give my children everything, and I easily could have, because I could have said, "Well, you lost your father. I'm going to make up for it this way. You lost your father. I'm going to make up for it that way."
Right.
I purposely didn't do that. I made them. I taught them the value of working hard, being responsible to each other, to the family, the value of contribution, not only to their family, but to the community, to larger purposes. So these are all things that you have to breed into your children. They don't just come out of osmosis. And it takes a lot. Being a parent is the toughest job in the world, because you have a lot to do in a little time. You have a little time of, like, let's say 18 years, and then that kid is going off wherever, right? So you have so much to do in that period of time. And beyond just doing the other things like putting food on the table, so it's a huge job.
It
And
does go by quick, doesn't it?
right, yeah, it's like, think about it. I mean, literally, once they hit high school, it's like, zip, they're gone. So
I thought, when we were in grade school, because I was the guy who would take my daughter, we parked the car and I'd walk her to her room, and I'm going, God, we got to do this for 12 years. We're only in fifth grade, or fourth grade or third grade, and now it's almost over. It's
yeah,
almost over. And boy, do things change from
yeah,
elementary to grade school and all.
so much. So that's why you can't take that time for granted either with them, when they're little, especially, and any moment you have with them, because it does go by so fast. And
But
when that
people
change
realize
happens,
they
yeah,
just don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. The one
they
thing
do
my ex
not get
said to me was, this is a long time ago, and she said she's only going to be little for a very little time.
It's
And she
really
was
true.
right. And God, I love those days. They're fun. Everything is
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Now it's like I gotta almost like dangle a carrot, like because she's busy. Don't you want to see your dad? Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I do realize, because I've had people that they would buy their kids everything they needed because their relationship, their family was broken up, and they just keep compensating through. And that's not really a good. Although you think you're doing the right thing, that's not necessarily the right thing.
No,
You know?
no, no. I mean, look, it's unfortunate that families break up. I think you should try as hard as you can. And I think most people, if you ask them, they'll say that what they did. So I'm not here to judge that.
No.
But I think that you cannot feel guilty um, for something happening with relationship to your marriage, and then pass that on to your children and expect it to come out okay. It sucks for everybody that it happened. The best thing you can do is to try to raise the child. I speak of experience. I'm also, I'm divorced. I have a 10-year-old too, so I have 5 kids. And yeah, and so what I did with him is, it was a very, very short marriage, but I have always tried my hardest and to raise that child with his father in a very, very mutually conducive relationship. I mean, because I want to put the child first. That's my job.
They need
Remember your job.
right. They need if both parents are willing to be parents,
Yeah.
they need balance. You have to stop your indifferences because of like, screw you, I'm going to make sure you never see your child. It's like, who are you hurting? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you should never do that.
I get it. But this is how my whole show started. I mean, originally, now I mix it up a little bit and we go a lot of different directions. Basically, it's all about the children because to me, I love children because they could be screaming, crying, and then 10 minutes later, they completely forget everything. As opposed to us as adults, I'm not a duck. Nothing rolls off my back. I'm pissed, and I stay pissed for a while. I'm just, you know,
Some
I can't.
people are like that sometimes. So, you know, I get that. I do get that. But you have to remember, as an adult, you have to remain an adult in all situations, especially with your child.
A lot of people.
Yeah, and that goes back to, so what happened? Like, what to these kids? Well, that's one of the first challenges. Is if the parents can't behave as adults, what do you think you're exempling to your child?
When you're in the moment, though, they don't think about that. It's, you know, they're after thinkers. I think, you know, people who've been divorced several times, unfortunately, should be better learners, because the first one's a bitch because it's an experience you've never encountered.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like I'm a smarter person now, but I mean, I wasn't doing anything stupid. I was just trying to hold on to what I had because I wanted to be a father to a child that I adored.
Right.
You know, but again, we don't. But the thing is, I don't care why you get divorced. I don't care about that. It really is like, who suffers. Yeah, you suffer, but your child's really suffers. In the middle.
Right.
So let's do this. Here's what we're gonna do, because guess what? Remember when you were asking me how long is this show gonna go?
Yeah.
How long would I have on? Time flies when you're having fun. I'm gonna have you. And I said I'd have you on no less than 4 or 5 hours, and that was a joke. But the thing is, time does fly when we're talking about things you care about, and I truly believe that this conversation has been all about caring about. Tell me one thing: why would people want to buy your book? Be careful what you wish for.
Because it is an emotional journey and a roller coaster that will take you through love, through romance. It will make you go to a place that you've been before, but never in a book. And it will compel you to revisit it and feel those feelings again. And it will touch your heart, and it'll end up being a quick read, because you'll get so swept up in it that you won't be able to put it down. And that's what people are saying. They're reading it in one sitting. So I think if you want a great book and you want to have an emotional journey, you want to be swept away and maybe even out of this world for like 2 hours, 3 hours, this is a book for you.
All right, so what we're looking at is Be Careful What You Wish For by Laura J. Wellington. This book is available. Tell me again where all this book is available at.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores, I imagine, all the online sites. Got it.
Listen, I want to thank you for, again, staying up late with me. I know it's tough, but this is, you don't know how many people I've had from the East Coast that go, "Oh, Peter, I can't do your show because it's so late. It's so late." I'm old, but I'm so grateful to the ones that stay up, because, again, this show will linger on and on, and I think that the momentum, it's like a snowball. It always just keeps rolling and building, and more people get to hear what you have to say. And I wouldn't have brought you on the show if I didn't think you had something to say.
Thank you, Peter. You're a lovely man, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Depends who you ask, but okay. Okay. Tell me one thing, if you want to close out with me, if there's anything you could say in life in general to leave my 3 million, what you would tell them, regardless of the book, because I'll talk about the book anyway. But the thing is, I'm all about the show is entitled Life of Peter G. It's all about life. Life's a
Yeah.
bitch. Life gets thrown curves. We don't, anticipate. I mean, we're bitching about this and that, and then you got the person like, how this is it said? The man with no shoes bitches about this, but the man with no feet, or something like that. There's, everybody's got problems, and to them, that's their biggest problems. But what would your closing statement, I guess, before I let you go?
That's very, very easy.
Oh, okay.
Don't wait to do things. Don't put off life. The things that you really want to do in your life, do them early, because they'll change your life. And if they're inside you that you need to do them now. People wait. They wait to live their lives till they're ready, till this is ready, that's ready. That's the wrong way to do it, in my opinion. And I live the way I'm saying that, or giving the advice to go out and grab it, because you don't want life to pass you by. You never did it because you were waiting so long. Go out and do those things you need to do, and do it today, because tomorrow may never come. And that's the one thing that my husband found out. Tomorrow never came for him.
I know. Who would ever think you wake up one day and somebody's telling you like you got a problem, right? I know. The wish you never want to wish for.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Laura J. Wellington, her new book. It's not just out, but out since the fall, but it's new to me, and it's new because it's a gift that keeps on giving. Be careful what you wish for. Laura, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving me the time to be on my little show.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
I believe there's a reason for everything. I've grown to believe that, and we would not be here right now if it wasn't for that reason. And I think that a lot of people, your story helps somebody else with their story. Everybody has a story.
Yes,
So
they do.
thank you very much. We'll be in touch. Again, I'm going to remind you, this show eventually, I think I had a LinkedIn problem. This is, we're cutting our teeth right now, but eventually, like tomorrow, it'll be on LinkedIn, and that's where we're most accustomed to. But YouTube Live, it's all on Facebook. You can take this show, you can do what you want with it. There'll be clips. You can, use it to your advantage because it's worth it.
Thanks, Peter. I really appreciate it.
Well, again, thank you for staying up, and I love you for it. I do, and when things progress, and maybe, again, so long as I keep going, I'm available to you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. Okay. Oops.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Then
Sounds
say goodnight,
good.
my people.
All right.
We're going to talk
Okay.
next.
Bye.
Say goodnight.
Bye.
All right. I'll see you later. There you have it, people. Miss Laura Wellington. Laura J. Wellington. Go out and find her book. Be careful what you wish for. If you're a reader, it's going to be audible too. An emotional roller coaster full of life. Life's a bitch. She talks about life in this book. That's why I had her on. It wasn't like, 10 most comical moments. I'll save that for another show. That's it. I want you to don't forget, next week we're going to have on the show Dr. Bindu Babu. She's a New York she's part of Forbes most 50 powerful women. She is a doctor, talks about narcissism. She's multifaceted. A lot to talk about. Narcissism is a big deal with me. I mean, it's like you're breaking somebody down. People thrive on conquering and just stupid stuff. And unfortunately, many fail and fall for it and get destroyed from it. She was kind enough to talk to me. I saw what she was doing, and I'm going to have her on my show next week. So next week, it's going to be an interesting subject because, again, life of Peter G. How we all survive this stuff, right? It's all about being a good human being. next week. Dr. Bindu Babu. She's awesome. She's got a lot to talk about. She's very experienced in handling your business. Narcissism, no good. How to deal with it. Narcissistic people, no good. How to deal with it. Also, really good stuff. I want to thank Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy for allowing me to be here in my own crazy way. Right now, we've changed formats. Things are going to be changing through the month, through the next month or so. Every week is going to be one giant step towards little steps of change, from the look, the way we deliver the show. Right now, we're delivering YouTube Live, Facebook pages live, and LinkedIn Live. Don't be a party pooper. Join in. Get what you can. Love you guys for sticking with me through all the ups and downs. And believe me when I say that, all the ups and downs. Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. Ask for it in stores. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy. Ask them, hey, where can I find this Bolt Energy? They're new. They're growing. It's not easy being the new guy on the block. But believe me, it's an all-natural energy drink. No preservatives. Go find that in an energy drink. You can't. So make it happen. All right? Bolt Energy. Love it. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me. Lots of crazy going on in this world right now. Lots of crazy going on. Next week's going to be this week. Actually, this week is going to be, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we'll still be on the air by next week. But we're still here. We're still here. I want you to like, share, watch parties. You have no idea if you share these shows who you may be helping in your inner circle, who might need this stuff. And go, wow, thank you. People are very private. A lot of people don't want to talk about things in their life. They're very private. Share, people. Share. Let's take this stuff and make it something and go somewhere with it. Couldn't ask you for anything else. I appreciate you more than you know. I'll see you next week when we have Dr. Bindu Babu right here. Narcissism, big deal. I hate it. But a lot of people fall for that crap and they just go down in flames, and people thrive on being just assholes. Don't take no shit from anybody, but be a decent human being. As I always say, life is short. Really is. A lot shorter than you think. I'll be talking to you soon. Thank God for letting me get through this evening pretty much pain-free, considering all the crap we've been through. This is just one giant step for the future, okay? Love you guys. Peace out. Till next week. See you soon.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced